life is God's gift to you. What you do with it is your gift back to God. Well, in a world where challenges are plentiful, it's easy for us to feel discouraged. Yet with enough guidance and support, most people can achieve more in life than they ever dreamed possible. Well, beyond your fears is everything you ever dreamed of. For the DrSTem Show, we'll give the voiceless a voice and the hopeless hope. And now, here she is, DrSTem.
Hello, real quick, before we get into the show, I wanted to invite you to a free 7-day manifesting challenge. Here's the thing. I believe that we all are capable and able to achieve our dreams and desires at any time, but we have to know how to be receptive, how to manifest and receive that which we are asking for. So for 7 days, I'll be sending you an audio or video for you to watch and then do the things that I say in that video. And then after 7 days, I can't wait. I'm so excited to hear what comes up for you, what you'll be able to achieve. So visit our website, www.drstemi.com and www.drstemspeaks.com. Now, let's get into the show. Hello, and welcome again to another segment of the DrSTem Show and podcast. Today, I can't tell you the excitement that I had because the lady that you'll be hearing from, I met her in California. We were at a Lisa Nichols conference. I like to go to trainings, conferences, because I get to meet new people, what I call divine connections. So welcome to the show, Miss Gracie Quarshie.
Thank you, DrSTem. I'm super excited to be on the DrSTem show today.
Wow. I mean, you know what? I've got your bio here, but then, and I'll go ahead and say it. But I just wanted, because when we met, you mentioned you're from one country, but you're staying in another country. So there was all this, that part. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so thank you once again. Your audience, thank everyone for listening, for tuning in today. So rightly said, my name is Grace Quarshie. I'm a Ghanaian, but I live in Togo with my family as missionaries. So my husband is a pastor. We have a church there, and that is what led us to that place. So that's why I'm there. We've been there for the past 7 years. But initially, I used to go in from Ghana and come to Lome and all that until recently, I decided to settle down in Togo and build my business.
In Togo, and we're going to get into that business as we do the conversation. Thank you for that. So I think I should have introduced her as First Lady Grace Quarshie. So we welcome you and thank you for that. So just a little bit for all of you that are watching us, I have the pleasure of introducing, Miss Grace Quarshie, or First Lady Grace Quarshie. She is one of the most, sought after empowerment conference speakers, coach. She's a TEDx speaker. She is also an author of I Kissed My Job Goodbye. I bought the book when I met her, and I read it within the weekend that I met her. So I highly recommend it, especially if you're caught in that decision. This is the part that I love. If you're caught in that decision, should I leave my job? Should I not? Now that they have let me go, what do I do? Where do I go? That's the book for you. I'm recommending it because then when I read it, I was like, whoa, okay, look at that. So she talks about how she went from, joblessness to owning a successful business and living fulfilled life. She published a book during the COVID-19 pandemic. All those things she birthed after the job. Let me point that out. From a laid-off employee, Grace's resilience and determination has inspired a lot of women worldwide, as she will today, so that they can overcome their fears and self-sabotage to become the women they want to be, the women that they were born to be. She's an expert in empowering and equipping African women. I'm from Africa, so she's from Ghana. I'm from Zimbabwe. Check. So she's after our hearts as African women so that we can unleash our possibilities and potential, and also not be afraid to monetize our expertise, get paid, and ask for the money for our expertise, because our expertise is the gift that God gave us, or Allah higher power gave you. We will go into longer because I want her, I want to hear her heart. I want to talk to her. This book, this joblessness, I just want to get back to the moment that you lost the job, you decided to leave the job. Tell us, just without giving out the whole story, because I want people to buy the book, because I got more from like laying down and just reading it myself. Now I want to hear about the feelings, how it was. Was it scary for you?
So it was August 2016, 10 a.m. And then I received a phone call from my boss to come into a meeting. And when I got to the meeting room, I was welcomed by a panel, and my boss said, "Grace, I'm sorry. You are part of 200 people who are being laid off today." Immediately she said that, my heart sank into my stomach. My palms were sweating. My knees were shaking. I could not just believe that I have just lost my high-profile banking job through redundancy. When I was handed over my redundancy package, my hand was shaking as I was collecting it. I couldn't coordinate my steps when I was getting up to face the door, to walk out the door. And DrSTem, and when I finally gathered the strength and the encouragement to walk towards the door and shut that meeting door behind me, I felt like I've entered a tunnel full of darkness and with no end. And as I was descending the staircase to my office, where I was going to pack my files and my books and all that, and say goodbye to a 10 years banking career, the question that was ringing so loud in my mind was, Grace, what is next for you? And I couldn't get any answer to that as I was leaving the office on that fateful day. So when I got home, it was a messy days for me, as 31st August, the next day was 1st September. And I was asking myself, so I'm not going to receive any salary again. In the moment of my crying, depression, losing weight, I couldn't even go to church. I couldn't go out because I was so shy and so disappointed in myself that as a young girl at the age of 19 years, as an African girl, I ran away from home because there was no parental support for me to go to school. And so I ran away from home to take care of myself. Through the university, graduated with a good grade, get a good banking job. My dream was to get to the top of the corporate ladder, inspire other women, and tell them that, look, this is possible for you too.
Yes.
Even if you don't get parental support. And all of a sudden, that dream came crashing down. So I didn't just lose a job, I also lost a dream. And the
Mm.
question was, how can I achieve that dream again, that I can still become an inspiration to let people know that it's not the end of you.
Yes.
And that was when I decided to start my own entrepreneurial journey and build, and later on wrote this book, I Kissed My Job Goodbye, so that people will see that losing a job doesn't mean that it's the end of your life, but it's the beginning of a life that you have always been dreaming of, exciting, amazing life that you have always been dreaming of. And so when I say that how I went from joblessness to owning a successful business and living a fulfilled life, I'm not saying that I have everything that I wanted or I want, but a fulfilled life, meaning that I was able to overcome my fears, step out of my comfort zone to discover who I am and to do what I'm doing now as my purpose to inspire other people.
Tell us about that business that you started, that you're doing now. Because I'm seeing you all over Facebook and all these new groups that you're starting and stuff. So I just want to get right into it.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Steve. So um I when I started my entrepreneurial journey 6 years ago, one of the things that I wanted to do was to help women who have stories like me, those stories of self-sabotage, that you are not good enough. Because I was being hunted by that thought when I lost my job. And I felt like I was not good enough. That was why I was laid off. Because there are a lot of people there. I mean, even though a lot of people were laid off, we still had people working in the bank. And I kept on asking my Grace, why were you laid off? And those negative thoughts, when you are alone, they start coming in to break you down. And that was why when I heard, you are not good enough, you are not good enough. And that thought crippled me every day when I wake up in the morning. Until one day I decided to set myself free and say no. And when I said no to those negative thoughts, it was a battle fighting them every day. I was liberated, not totally liberated, but liberated to take that first step to start something on my own. When I started my first business, within the first year, I became one of the topmost leaders in my industry in Ghana. It was a network marketing business. I never knew that I had those skills of inspiring people. My business grew in such a way that I was able to help people take radical actions in their lives. And that was when I started developing speaking and coaching. So it got to a point in time, I decided to put myself on a personal development plan. I wanted to fill my cup so that I can fill other women's cup and help them. And so currently, as a result of what I am doing,
Yes.
I help African women see the value in their stories and their messages. Not only see the value, I also help them to make those value marketable and profitable so that they can develop the confidence to come out of the self-sabotage, the fear, and step onto a global platform to share their story and increase their impact and income too as well. And so that's why you see me all around the world, because I call myself Grace Quarshie,
Yeah.
from Africa to
Okay.
global.
And you are global. We saw you in California.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Came
yeah,
all the way from Togo,
yeah.
and she had no apologies. I can see you doing what you do.
Thank you.
I can tell the audience, I was blessed and honored to meet her in person. And you are a very humble, person. And I can see you serving from the heart. I can see you really caring about the impact, that each and every one of your clients makes, and also, how they can transform. I could see that because of the way that, you exude and the way that you present yourself. And let me tell you, if you are one person that is shy, this also will be your coach, because then you can tell she was a shy person. And when
Yeah,
even when I saw you first, before I said hello, I thought, oh boy, she's not gonna talk. But just say hello, and she will start talking. And when she starts talking, oh no, ain't no shyness in this lady here. You can
yeah,
talk,
yeah,
but I can see how you make, an impact. Actually, on your bio, it does, state that you actually have trained over 500 women so
yeah,
that they
yeah,
could experience, your coaching framework,
yeah,
discover, develop,
yeah,
deploy, and
yeah,
demand, which is
yeah,
exactly what what many
yeah,
of them would need, to
yeah,
build that
yeah,
confidence, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. So right. So when I started, after losing my job, I started my entrepreneur journey.
Okay.
God put me in a space where I met a lot of women. And guess what? Most of these women were bankers. And one of the things that they were struggling with, they were fed up with a banking job, but they couldn't leave. So when they heard my story that I was laid off and I've been able to start something on my own, were just rushing on me, help me do the same thing that you have been able to do. Because, hello, I'm struggling in here. I want to get out. I don't have time for my family. I don't have time for myself. And so I used my network marketing platform to train a lot of women. And even after that, when I really went into coaching and speaking professionally, I also helped a lot of women. One of the ladies that is so remarkable, I mean, her story is so remarkable, is a lady I met who was working in a bank I had worked before.
Mhm.
And she watched my interview on TV. And I remember receiving a phone call from her as so much. And she was like, I need your help now. I'm dying. I said, what's the issue? She said, I leave home 5:30 a.m. I come home 9:30 p.m. Yes.
That's a
Yeah.
long day.
And she said, I see my children on only weekends. I'm dying. I want to live here. But I'm afraid that when I step out, what am I going to do? Oh boy, she met the right person. I put hope and inspiration into her and empowered her. And she took up one of my executive coaching program.
Mhm.
DrSTem and our beloved audience, as I'm talking to you now, Joy started her business a year and a half ago. She's one of the CEO in Ghana with a big beauty shop in Africa. She has already been interviewed on TV too as well.
Mhm.
And her
Mhm.
story is inspiring a lot of women out there in Ghana. I
Yes.
have done my part.
Yes.
And now the spotlight is on her, where she started her own business coming out from the banking industry. And since then, that is how it has been. I just coached one lady. She also came from the banking industry.
Mhm.
She resigned herself, sitting home. She didn't know what to do. And she met me in May. I coached her. By September, we launched her book. And now she's living a fulfilled life. What I mean by fulfilled life is, you see, fear can hold people back. Whenever you are able to liberate yourself from the fear and self-sabotage, and you find your purpose and you start walking in it and impacting life, that to me is a fulfilled life. And that's what I seek to help women achieve that.
Wow. This is the very reason why we started this show. I started this show in 2013, and at that time I was working with parents and teenagers, and it was to bridge the gap between parents and teenagers. At the beginning of the pandemic, I decided I needed to change it. We needed a platform that women and men are welcome, could come and talk about how to bounce back, how they bounced back. And also, I wanted this platform to be for women who are in business and those who are aspiring business women to sit here and talk about their dreams, their fears, so that another woman can be encouraged, inspired, and say, you know what? If she could do it, I can do it.
Yeah, I am your possibility. I am your possibility. You know, I don't think too far.
Yes.
I am your possibility that is possible for you too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
so much for that.
You got it in you. I got it in me. Sister Grace has it in her, and so does everyone. Which means what Grace is doing, what I am doing, this show and everything else, that it means you can do it. There are billions of people around the world. And Grace cannot touch them all. I cannot touch them all. There's space and room for you to do exactly what we are doing. But it's going to be done in our own unique way. And that's why we're doing it. So thank you for sharing that story. Thank you for sharing that story. Because I think we needed to hear that it's possible. We needed, and I think the other thing is, you're talking about having done this whilst were you in Ghana or in Togo at that time?
So by that time, I started whilst I was in Ghana, even though my husband was in Lome, starting the ministry. So it happened that I have to be going in and out. I visit weekend, come back, or I go for some weeks and come back and all that, because I didn't want to limit myself to only Ghana, and to only Lome. I wanted to go global with my message and my story. And especially when the pandemic hit, as you said, I launched my book in the middle of the pandemic, 2020 May, because I remember I had written the book and everything, but I was waiting for the pandemic to go, and a friend called me and said, Grace, this book you should launch this book in this pandemic, because people were losing their jobs just like that.
Yes.
And when I launched the book immediately, that was what shoot me into the limelight, because everybody was like, I want to read this book. I want to know, because people were just losing their jobs. So it talks to us that sometimes the right time the condition will not be perfect, but launch out. You can never tell. That is the time that you will find that treasure that you have always been looking for.
You're right. And I always tell people, right, I also am a mental health professional. And I remember that, I'm transitioning more into, just like you now, into coaching and doing this show full time. But when I was in, doing the mental health counseling, I remember telling people that, and I don't mean to impose this on, anyone watching, or anything. You replace God with a higher power, spiritual power, or whatever it is that you believe in. I honor and respect that. But I believe in God. And I always used to say, to people the same thing. Listen, I know I believe in God, and I don't know who you believe in. But what I know for sure, regardless of who you believe, wherever you are, whatever you are going through, you are being prepared to help multitudes of people who are going through that right now, have gone through what you're going through, and cannot let go or release, so that they can move out, and voila, they'll come across you, run across you, meet you, and then all of a sudden that release comes, and then that's when you'll understand that the dots are now connecting, right? So with all those people that you've helped now, and the ones that you will help, if they did not endure the pain and the agony of being bankers, they would not appreciate you, and you would not appreciate you and the work that you're doing now. So I want to encourage everybody out there that will be watching this, that whatever it is that you don't have to stay in it and say, well, she said that I'll be able to serve people, so I better endure it. No, you don't have to stay in it, because by the time that you watch this show with Miss Grace, it means it's your time to move. She's here to interrupt the pattern, interrupt the thought, the behavior, because it's time. So when you see this show, there's no more excuse of, oh, she's saying she went through it so that she could help people. Maybe I'm here so that I could help people. No, the time is now. When you watch this show, it doesn't come across everyone. But those people that are supposed to see it at the time they're supposed to see it, you will come across this show and you say, I was meant to watch this, because she's sharing her story so that you can interrupt your story and change your story.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That is it. That's it. Thank you, Dr. Steam. That's powerful. That's so powerful.
So you ready to play? I know we've talked about the business, and right at the end, we're going to be telling other ladies where to get you. You ready to play? I like to play a little bit so that people can just see you, because you're a serious business. You're a serious businesswoman. I like to just loosen you up a little bit.
Thank you. I'm ready. I stay ready.
Okay. So tell me, in your original family of origin, do you have siblings? How many, and where do you fall?
Yeah. I have siblings. I have steps, like 3 steps, and I have two real biological, from one mother, one father. So I have a single brother, and I am the first and second girl. So second, but the first girl. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What about your own family? Are you married? You are married, because Pastor is your husband. Do you have children?
Yeah, I have a wonderful and amazing superstar boy. He's 4, turning 5. Yeah.
Oh, did you say pastor? Did you say pastor?
Yes. No, he's 4, turning to 5, my son.
Oh, okay.
I'm married to a pastor.
Okay. Yeah, I thought he was already a pastor at 4 years old. I'm like, what? Well, no, I mean, which is not impossible, but
I think he's on the way, because he's so amazing. Sometimes he says things that so let me just share this since we are playing. Yes. I remember one time, every time I asked him, what did you dream about, and all that, and one day he just opened his mouth and he said, yes, I had a dream. I said, okay, what was it about? He said, I saw God. I'm like, okay.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you never know. You never know. Miracles start right at that age. Yeah, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite color?
I'm someone that don't really have a favorite color. I used to have a favorite color when I was growing, which was orange. Orange attracts me and show me so much life. But when I see something like purple, I'll go for it. When I see red, I'll go for it, depending on what I want and what form I have. So I am not really a favorite color person.
Okay. What's the one thing that you have done consistently for as long as you remember?
Never giving up.
Never giving up. I like that.
Consistently, on a daily, I never give up on a daily basis. That's what I've been able to do consistently. Nothing else, never giving up.
I love that. And do you have an earliest memory that you can share with the audience from your childhood that actually has, still fuels you to be this vision of you that we see?
Wow, I don't really have good childhood memories because of what I went through. I was not the woman that stayed with father and mother. I had to be living with people in Africa and all that, like a bag, or as soon as they can't take care of you, they push you to another side and all that. But I've turned out to be the woman that I am. And that was where I developed my resilience. Because in every home I go to, I was treated like she's just coming to join us. But I was able to go to school. I never gave up. And I am the woman that I am. So I think resilience. I developed my resilience from when I was growing up.
Wow. You know what comes to mind as you share that is seeing this little girl that didn't belong and kept saying, I don't belong.
Yeah.
And one day came to this realization that I belong.
Yeah.
And once you realize that you belong, you started building this empire where every woman can say, I belong, and believe that they belong and become the best version of themselves because they do belong. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, God told me, God, when I was growing up, as you rightly said, I anywhere I go, but I was growing up, and one of the things that helped me a lot is how I was able to found my relationship with God and stay in it, even though I was not perfect, but I stayed in it. And that was when I had that feeling that there's someone who is so higher than all of them, who loves me genuinely and has a good plan for my life.
Yes.
And that gives me that sense of belonging to move the journey to become who I am today.
Yes. You have some program that you're calling women right now. I went through it, this morning.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that and invite the ladies as we end this program, as well as tell them where to find more information?
Yeah, so first of all, I would say that to just get to know, go to my website. It's very simple, www.grisquashi.com. All my social media handles, grisquashi.com, to know more about all the things that I'm a very whenever you come close to me, you'll not be the same. So when you are coming, watch out. When you are following me, watch out, because I'm going to pump so much hope and inspire you and empower you to take radical action to transform your life. So watch out before you follow me, So this is one of my book anthology project. Is called African Women Who Inspire.
Okay.
We just launched this in October, and it's an anthology of inspirational stories of 7 women across the globe that wrote and shared their stories of possibilities and resilience. My life has always been about resilience and possibilities, and especially in this current world, coming out of COVID, entering a global crisis and all that. One thing I believe the world needs is to hear that people have been able to navigate through hard times and they are still living. So there's still hope for us. So that's why I decided, and we are doing the volume 2. So if you are watching us, you can please get on my website, www.grisquashi.com. Visit all my social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You see a link to join us on this project. And I also have group coaching projects, executive coaching, and all that. You can go on my website, get more information on it, and also reach out to me. And I am so much ready to help you navigate through that journey of coming out through your fears and living a fulfilled life as well.
Miss Grace,
Thank you.
we honor you.
Thank you. Thank you. Before I dropped, let me just say that I have I don't know if I can do this, but there's, when you go on my website, I have free resources.
Oh, yeah.
One of the resources that I took my time to do is almost like a coaching program. I shared 7 empowering steps that you can use to activate the woman that you want to become. I shared this. This is what helped me to become the woman that I am now. Those 7 steps. So I did a very simple recording and I shared it on my website, www.grisquashi.com. When you go to free resources, you will see the 7 empowering steps to activate the woman that you want to become. These are the same steps, and I said it I took to transform from that woman of not being good enough to become a coach, a speaker, being spoken on various platforms and all that. And it can happen to you too. So make sure you get on that website and get that free gift.
Awesome. Yes, you can do that. So You will have all, because if you're like me, you're like, where did she say you should go? How do I spell Quarshie? Do not worry about it, because as you see this video underneath the post or above the post of the video, you will have all the links that you need, and all you got to do is just click on them and you'll get to her website. So don't worry about that. I want to thank you for, gracing us with your presence, but most of all, I want to thank you for showing up for every woman that you will encounter and all those that you have worked, with. May you continue to get the light, to continue to be excited about showing up every day and showing every woman how to show up every day. I know we're going to be doing more work, together. So this is not the end, of this journey. I want to say thank you for being my sister from another mother. So let's keep on going.
Thank you so much, Dr. Steen. You have never left my memory since the first day I saw you.
Oh, wow.
Your introduction was so powerful. And I remember the way is that your book? I want to buy it. In a world like this, we are praying for more people like you who will support us. I remember telling my husband that I met a woman who was just asking me, and because of what you did, I sold 3 books on the spot. This one, Dr. Betty bought it, Jane bought it, and we just met for some few minutes. We just connected.
Yes.
You are so full of joy. You are you are full of light, and I you have never left my memory. Your first introduction, you have never ever left. You have a way of so passionate, so passionate. I'm like, oh my God, I've never met a woman like that. And I'm sincere. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not saying it because we are live or we are on this podcast. I'm telling you the kind of person that you are, that is not common. And so I want you to keep up doing it because you bring light, you bring joy. And to tell you, on that day I met you, I was not myself, because I'm not, let's just share this, just to tell you that sometimes God bring people into your life to lighten you up. And I was so grateful that I met you guys in California on that particular night when we're having our sneakers night and all that, because I came in the conference and I had a collaboration with someone to share a room, and all of a sudden I was not hearing from the person, and I didn't know where I was going to sleep that night. And getting a room in California was too, my spirit was so down. But I was active in the midst of it all. And I met you and Jane and Dr. Betty, and the way you approached me, it was so empowering, it was so lighting. I left that day feeling that I belong. And I thank God for meeting you guys.
You're going to make me cry. You're going to make me cry. Because I thought of the same thing when you said belong. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. And since then, we have formed a team, we formed a WhatsApp group, and we are here to share, to help other women know that there's a place for you to belong.
Yes.
Don't be there.
Yes.
Don't be
Girl,
there.
we could talk for hours. We could talk for hours. So I want to invite all of you that are also watching, because on December 17th, we're having a Bounce Back Empowerment Conference for Women. It is virtual. You can watch it from anywhere in the world. So as I do this with Miss Grace, today I just remembered that she's still in that window, her interview of, time that you can get your ticket and watch us on, December 17th, 2022. You'll see some of the sisters that we were talking about will be there on that platform. And we are coming to where you are. I've spoken to Grace. We want to come to, Ghana, especially first. And we're going to work on that for next year. We're coming to Ghana, definitely. And then I know that Togo is a whole different language. So I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that with the translation. So it's not going to be for 2023. But Ghana, I know definitely we are working on something. So Even if we have to fly in and fly out in a week and just stay in for a week, we just want to be in your presence. We just want to be in that moment where we can inspire you, encourage you as a woman, that there is more to you than you can ever know and understand. So with that, let me close this show. One word, one sentence of closing out that you want to say to the people.
Be the best that you can be in this world, and never allowed anything to stop you. You said one word, but the one word was not coming, so I just have to form a sentence.
You know, she's a speaker. She's a speaker. You know, she gonna say much, and you can tell I'm a speaker too. So we're not gonna stop. Until then, all of you, we thank you for watching the DrSTem show. If you want to be a guest, please email me at drstemshow@gmail.com. drstemshow@gmail.com. I want to hear your story. I also want you to inspire and encourage all those that will listen to your story and the work that you're doing. Once again, I am DrSTem, and as I always say, be encouraged.